We'll get started in a few. We're just going to give a couple more minutes for everyone to trickle on in.
I didn't know.
Information that'll be welcoming for you. We have a couple really key people here tonight. A couple of them were not able to make it as well. We have our counseling team, Mr. Foster, who is the 9th grade counselor, but also serves as our NCAA liaison for all students, Ms. Hiotis, and then Ms. Montero, Ms. Schneider, and Ms. Benetic are here with us tonight. For those who may not know Ms. Schneider's name, jumping off the page, she is our lead replacement this year for Ms. Bartlett. So if you have Ms. Bartlett as a counselor, that's the name you'll see popping through on Parent Square and Google over the next couple of weeks. And then three very important people who I believe the counseling team would agree with me. If we didn't have them, I don't know that we would run as smooth as we do. Donna Sparacino, Dana Shaw, and Lori Walsh are our clerical team in the guidance department. So I want to start here with a little quote that I pulled, and there's a method to this madness, but if you take responsibility for yourself, you will develop a hunger to accomplish your dreams. And what that kind of means to me, and what I would like for it just to mean to all of you, especially the students here in the room, the students that may be listening, this is a time for you to start thinking about your future, whether that means college, career, military, a vocational program. This is your time. The counseling team is here to assist you. They are, of course, able to provide advice, guidance, support, but it's important that you take ownership of this process. It's your future. Your parents that are here with you already have already gone through this. I've gone through it. The counseling team has gone through it. It's now your opportunity to kind of take the bull by the horns, decide, hey, where do we want to go with this? Again, you have great support here. Your parents should also be support. I had a conversation with a parent last week, and it was, well, when I was filling out this, as a parent, I don't know, I don't want to be doing my child applications. I would, of course, want to help them, but I would love to see the students really take that ownership. Think about it this way, if you're going to go away to college, and you're not going to be on the island, you're going to be in upstate New York, Mom and Dad probably are not coming with you. So it's good to start taking that responsibility now, early in your senior year. It will instill some positive beliefs for you to carry not only to school, to a job, but for the rest of your life. So a couple of reminders that I have for you. Anyone that may be a potential Division I or Division II athlete, you must register with the NCAA. If you have not done so already, if you're unsure if you've done so, please stop into the counseling center. As I spoke earlier, Mr. Foster is our NCAA liaison. He will make sure that we have everything that we need in place to ensure that you are not only eligible to potentially play in college, but to make sure that all transcripts and all other pieces are ready to go for the end of your senior year. SAT and ACT scores, what I will do is touch briefly on the fact that we will have testing coming up in the next couple of weeks in October. For those students that signed up for the SAT, that registration deadline passed. There will be further information coming out as to where you should show up, times, things of that nature, as we get closer to the exam. And the ACT registration, if you have not registered yet and you would like to take that test on October 18th, that message was sent to Parent Square. You have the ability to still sign up for that exam up through September 30th. When it comes time, if you're sending your scores, please remember it is your responsibility to send those scores directly from the testing agency. So whether it's the SAT or the ACT, you would log in through there to send those scores. There are college visits beginning in the counseling center. I think they even may have started today. I think we had one in, but over the next couple of weeks, students, you will start seeing a large amount of college representatives coming through the office, many of which are coming back to in-person. A lot of the requests that I've seen are for in-person visits, which are great for students. It gives you the ability to get face-to-face with a rep, many of which that are reading the applications. Those visits are through Naviance, so you'd be able to log in, go to the college visits, and that's where you sign up. After you sign up, you have to get a pass from the counseling center in order to come to that. But again, those are great opportunities for you to ask questions, to really put a face to a name. And a lot of these reps read thousands of applications. So you want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward and you're really making yourself stand out amongst all those other applicants. As you go into that room, we've been working over the last couple months. When I first started here in October, it was a lot of different furniture. It was a very eclectic feel in there. We very happily welcome new furniture into that room. So, we're hoping that just by putting the nice, clean product in there as you as students come in, it's going to really promote a positive vibe coming out of Hauppauge for colleges to really want to accept and welcome Hauppauge students onto their campuses in the fall of next year. On-site admission dates are a little bit later on, but I just want to put it into everyone's mind as a, kind of on the forefront. I know that we have 1 or 2 already set up. They will be coming out later on in the month of October, more than likely for signups, and the councils will certainly be promoting those during some of their meetings. But I'm sure that we will have a couple more sign on. I think we had 4 or 5 last year. And what these are colleges coming into Hauppauge. They are having on-site, in-person admission dates here. They are usually free to the student, and they're usually giving you a decision on the spot. So it's really nice for those students that may be unsure of what their future might hold, as those schools tend to be some more of our local schools from the island. If they're still unsure of what they're looking at, it's a great opportunity for students to at least know they have something in their back pocket. Whether or not they go there, that's okay. But if we can provide that opportunity with at least a plan in place, that's great. And then the big one, and I stress this as a counselor, I will stress it as a director, and this is really more speaking to the students here. Your acceptances as they come in are conditional, meaning grades will still go to college throughout the year. I'm not saying you don't enjoy your senior year. I'm not saying don't embrace every aspect of it that comes your way with it, with proms down the road and homecoming coming up and all those great things. But know that when a school asks for something, they want to see that you're still achieving at the level that you are capable of achieving. All right, so just make sure that they can at any time say, you know what, you were an 85, 90 student, you got 65, 70 senior year, what's going on there? And I've seen it in the past, and it's unfortunate where acceptances are revoked, reversed, scholarships lost. We don't want that. We, of course, want what's best for all of you, so just keep that in the back of your mind as the year goes on. Class rank. So, on every application that a student will fill out, this is important to note, we are going to select that we as a district do not rank. It's important to know that there's a grade distribution chart on the school profile that will go out. I can tell you that school profile is in the works. Once it is complete, it will be posted to the website, so you'll be able to see all the great academic features that are in there and what a school is seeing. But it's, again, important to note that we do not rank. Now, with that being said, there will be a Google form going out more than likely early to mid next week. Our policy here in Hauppauge is, though we do not rank, a student may request to review their rank letter. So it will be a physical letter that you will receive through ParentsSquare that would tell you what your rank is in the senior class. There will then be an additional Google form that if you would like that letter included as an additional piece of your transcript, we can include it. The important piece here is if it's included with one application, it will be included with all. So if you apply to 10 schools, it will go to all 10 schools. That is not a Hauppauge thing, that is a Naviance and Common App integration piece. They have it, it's a one send where once we send a transcript to one place, it automatically will get sent to every school that you apply to. So it's just important to know that if you want it included, please know it will be with every single one of your applications. Another question that a lot of students will have coming up on applications is what your class size is. Class size that everyone will put in to be consistent is 269. The counselors will have that information to stress that in the event that anyone needs it. But again, I think Common App has that as the main question. Some college-specific applications will have it as well. Today's Thursday, right? Tuesday, we sent out this past Tuesday, I had sent out a ParentsSquare message in regards to diploma names. That deadline to submit that form is December 1st. This is to highlight and make sure that we have every student name the way that they would like it to appear on their diploma. First name, last name, if the student would like middle name, middle initial, nothing. Anyone that is not submitted by December 1st, it will be assumed that however your name appears at Infinite Campus is how you would like it to appear on your diploma. So if it's something different or if you're unsure how your name looks at Infinite Campus, it's better that you just submit that Google form so that the clerical team can work on the correct diploma names. There will be reminders. If you didn't see that message on Tuesday, don't panic. There will be plenty of reminders coming out over the next 2 months at this point. So, the FAFSA, so financial aid. I'm going to give my little speech on financial aid that I feel like I've been giving since the start of my career. We don't have much to do directly with financial aid forms. My thing is I don't like to mix your private finances with public school money. You know, we're a public school, we're not licensed in financial aid advice. However, with that being said, it is our goal to provide you with as much information as we possibly can. So if there are any financial aid webinars or forums going on around us, I will send that out. Everyone will have access to that. And also in the process of working with St. Joseph's College here on the island, they have an excellent financial aid director there who I've worked with for the last decade. And she typically comes in the building. So this will be the first year that she is not when she's permitted. But in talks the last 2 years, she has found that a lot of parents want that information, but it's better in either a recorded or a video virtual format. Her name is Amy Thompson, and Amy has told me the moment she has anything available, she is going to share that information with me. So it will be shared with you as soon as I have it. October 1st is the first date that you can start filling out the FAFSA forms. A lot of her presentations usually fell within that first week following October 1st. What was great and what she found was if parents started filling out those forms and they had questions, they came into those presentations with more questions that had substance, and it wasn't just an uncertainty of what the FAFSA contained. So as soon as I have all of that, I promise you I will share it out. My recommendation has always been when I filled it out going to school and when I even did my graduate programs, I went to my, I'll fly around. I went to my accountant who had a lot of that information, or every school that you apply to will certainly have a financial aid office that is willing to help you. This information was just shared with me. I know it's a little late in the month of October. There will be a lot of students that are, of course, looking to apply early action, early decision to places, or just early in general. But for those students that may not be too sure about what their future holds or what the plan might be, there is a college fair, and it's being held right here in the Radisson in Hauppauge on October 27th. It's like a tractor to me. I feel like my kids are here. It's being held, it's for both students and parents. I will have this message coming out tomorrow in a parent's group message as well, because the QR code on the bottom, I don't think it's legible on this screen. I was trying to do it even on my computer screen, it wasn't. So there is a PDF coming out tomorrow that will have a QR code that you can use to register for that. And again, there's tons of representatives there. You can see towards the bottom. There are some financial aid workshops going on. There's a bunch of different information that's to be had, as well as the schools that will be there just to meet with the reps. I always encourage students, if there's going to be a school there that you're interested in, again, just showing that interest in a school, meeting with the rep, asking those valuable questions, it will certainly leave a positive memory and image in that rep's mind when they're reading your application. And before I turn it over to our counselors for some more of the processes and procedures, new for this year is a Google Classroom devoted strictly to the 12th grade students. The classroom code for you to log into that is up on the board, on the screen behind me. That will be a point area for you to be able to log in and have every ounce of information that the counselors possibly have for you at your fingertips. It's linked to the website that we have for seniors, and I mean, as of today and yesterday, there were still more things being added. So it's just a good place to kind of bookmark, especially the next couple months. And we'll be able to, the counselors can communicate with students from there, provide new information as we gather it. So, students, if you're here now and you want to jump in and try to log in, you might be able to follow along as they're going. But without further ado, I think let's turn it over to Ms. Minetti.
Thank you, Mrs. Campanelli. So like he said, I'm Mrs. Winetic. I have the end of the alphabet, P through C, so I know a good number of you. I have to say, I know exactly how you're feeling right now because I went through this with my son last year and my daughter 3 years before. So not only from a professional vantage point, but also as a parent. We know that this is an overwhelming time for you, and we do everything that we can to make this manageable and less anxiety provoking for everyone. Tonight we are going to go over some really comprehensive, user-friendly tools that we use to get you the information that you need and help us all through the process. And obviously, any questions, concerns you have, just reach out to your counselor. At the end of this, you'll be able to, later on tonight, you'll be able to Parent Square to register for a senior meeting. That is something that we really urge all of you to do, because we literally will meet you where you're at in the process, and we will help you get to the next step, and you can always then continue to come to us as you need assistance throughout the process. Up on the screen here is Naviance. I'm going to take you through a bunch of aspects of this that we're going to be using throughout this process. As I'm sure you remember from last year, Naviance plays a key role in this process. It houses all of your information. Once you give us permission, we send your information through Naviance to the colleges. It also has career and college search tool in it, and also scholarship information. So I'm going to show you a good amount of this information. So right here from the home page, you can see this list of senior reminders. This is one place where you can literally get an overview of everything that we're going over tonight. So if you kind of forget and you need a list to follow, this is a great thing to glance over at. Mr. Campanelli spoke about the school day testing that we're having here, and that you still have till September 30th to register for the ACT, and it is free to our students during the school day. However, I want you to note here the two websites. If you are not taking the test at Hauppauge High School, you would need to register for the SAT with this direct link, or the ACT with this direct link if you're looking to take a Saturday exam. And you will be, if you're choosing to submit your scores, you will have to ultimately submit your scores through the testing websites, and we'll talk more with you individually about that. Also, from the home page here, you can see when you scroll down, Mr. Campanelli referred to the college visits. These college visits, that more of them are added every single day, so we really can't urge you enough to really look at this daily, and it's so simple. You can get it from the home page, or up here, you just go colleges, and then college visits, and it lists all of them for you, and you just have to literally click register now, and then you can get a pass to come to the guidance office. So we really have a great amount and a great variety of schools coming in, from private schools to huge schools to smaller schools, state schools. So that's where you would register for that, literally clicking register now, and then it's very simple. When you go from the home page as well, click colleges, and you can see here, these are college-specific scholarships that you can search through Naviance. This is a national scholarship search that you can use through Naviance. And then this scholarship search here is where we post everything that comes into our high school. So some of this is more local and maybe more attainable. We start posting as we get things. There's some things on there, but as the year goes on, more and more things are posted through here. And if you're interested in something through there, you just click through the information, and it tells you exactly how to apply for it. So now I'm going to start with showing you the pieces of Naviance that you need to use for this process. The first thing I'm going to talk about is your resume. Every single student needs to build a resume in Naviance, and we hope that you've been doing this as we urged you to all the way through. The way you get to the resume, you go to the top right-hand corner, you click About Me, you click Resume, and then you use this plus sign to enter in your activities. So this is anything you've done outside of the classroom since you entered high school. So if you did the breast cancer walk every year since elementary school, and you continued it at least through ninth grade, you can say that you did it since, whatever grade you started doing it. But if you stopped doing it before you got to high school, you wouldn't put it on here. So this is community service, this is any part-time job, on or off the books. If you babysit for your younger sibling and you got paid for it, it was a job. If you didn't, it was community service, okay? You really do not need to use the objective or the summary or the education unless you went somewhere other than Hauppauge High School or if you attended some type of a college program. This resume is for our use here at the high school, meaning it's a house for your information. So you're going to, and also obviously clubs, sports, in or out of school, theater, music, anything you've been involved in, any honors, any awards you've gotten, any honor societies, any leadership roles you hold, it all goes in this resume. First and foremost, there's one thing I want to show you on here. So when you click into putting something on here, the biggest thing that we want you to use is this description box, because we want you to explain a little bit about what you did within that activity, because your teachers and your counselor are going to be able to look at this to be able to write your letter of recommendation. So that's one tool that we use it for. But most importantly, it's for you to have a place to put everything that you've done. Because then when you start the Common App or your college application, you're going to be able to open this and copy and paste things literally right into your application. So it will really help you through the process as well. But we do need it in this, in here for the purposes of aiding us with the letters of recommendation. Okay, so now more about your letters of recommendation. We hope that everyone has asked two teachers in person. If not, we'd like you to do that now. If you don't see a person, you can email them, but the bottom line is you must get a personal response from them saying, yes, no problem, I'd love to do that with you. Once they then say that to you, you would go into Naviance, click colleges, click letters of recommendation, and then you click add request. You find the teacher's name, click on it. You always click general request because that means the teacher only has to upload it one time and then it allows us to send it to the colleges. And then here where it asks for a note, we highly recommend that you thank them again for being willing to write it, and then you can always say, oh, just wanted to let you know my first deadline date is, even though they will be notified through Naviance and through our office about your deadlines. And then you submit the request. And that's how the teacher would be able to upload your letter to Naviance. The next part that I want to go over with you is the colleges I'm applying to list. As I referenced before, the Common Application, I'm hopeful that a lot of you came to our Common App sessions over the summer and are already started with this. If not, don't worry, like I said, we will meet you where you're at and we'll help you with that. But when you use the Common App, you have to link the Common App to Naviance, and then those colleges will all go into this colleges I'm applying to list. But we are aware that every college does not take the Common Application. So if they do not take the Common Application, you need to manually put the college into colleges I'm applying to. The way that you would do that is click the plus sign, type the name of the school, then click on the school, and then this is very important. What application type are you using? This is how everyone is notified of your deadline. So you click whatever you are doing. I'll say early action, which is due December 1st. See here how it says, I'll submit my application via. If they do not take the Common App, it will not be an option, and you would just click direct to the institution. And then you just add the application, and it will be in your colleges I'm applying to list. So that is just something you have to do, again, only if you're not using the Common App, okay? That is all that I wanted to go over with you tonight. Mrs. Montera is going to come up and show you our website.
Just one last thing about your colleges I'm applying to list. If you are using the Common App, which, over like 900 schools use, and we do encourage you to do that, it very much simplifies the process of applying. Naviance and Common App sync up very nicely, and the way that you connect your Common App to Naviance is by clicking this Match Accounts button right here. We have done that through our summer sessions, and if you're not sure how to do that, we will certainly walk you through it through our individual meetings. So at 7:30, you've had a lot of information thrown your way, and another person's up here at the mic. And my job here tonight is to show you some more resources so that when you go home, you can remember what we talked about, right? And you can have these spaces, and when you're ready to, start tackling the information about this, you have it at your fingertips. Naviance is a wonderful website. We certainly want you to get used to using it. But as Mrs. Winetic said, right on the home page, we have a link directly to our Google site, which is our college's resources. We will link this through our Google Classroom. It's through our guidance page to the Hauppauge website, and it's also on Naviance. So this website right here will summarize everything we talk about. It's a wonderful tool to bookmark on your computer so that you can refer to it throughout this entire process. Everyone here in this room is in a different space. Some people have no idea where to start, some people are almost done, and that's fine. So we want to make sure that this website is here for whatever needs that you have. We're reminding you to join our Google Classroom. Okay, once again, that'll just be another tool and resource where you can get information and stay up to date. With the college process, there's so much information that goes back and forth. We want to make sure that you always have the right information at your fingertips. Everything we talk about tonight is summed up on this main website. We have information about our application process, which is basically the information that Mrs. Winetic had started about, and it's also broken down for the information that I'll be going over to you in terms of our very famous forms, which we'll speak about. We also link lots of information to additional directions. We have an entire video series. So everything we've been clicking and showing you tonight on Naviance, we have broken down into video series. All of the videos are under 5 minutes. It's myself and the other counselors walking you through step by step. So if you sit down to do your resume and you said, I totally forgot what she said tonight, click on this video, watch it, pause it, and click along so that you have it ready at your house when you're doing it. So we have everything from doing the resume, the matching your account, the teacher recommendation, and even information about NCAA, Naviance information, and our college visits. So we encourage you to visit this, the video section at your leisure when you're ready. You will always have this information available at your fingertips. It's right there on the home page. We also have a link for several virtual college fairs. We know we have the one in person, as Mr. Campanelli talked about, that will be here late October. But there's many virtual college fairs that you can take advantage of that are right online from the comfort of your home. You can click on the different links that we have. Whoop, we'll have to fix that. But we have lots of virtual college fairs where they'll go online and different reps will come on and walk you through their requirements and different ways to engage with their school. Another great option if you can't actually visit a school because it's too far away or they're not going to be in our local area. We also have another scholarship link. It's basically the information that you'll find on Naviance. Naviance will always have the most up-to-date information when it comes to college visits and the scholarships. We do always want you to check Naviance first, but this will just be another link just in case you're out and about and you need to access. And finally, we have an entire resources and financial aid page where if you need any kind of website, we typically have it linked here for you, as well as summary information for SUNY, as well as financial aid resources. So lots of information on this website that's going to help and assist you throughout this entire process. Also on the home page, we have information about submission deadline dates, which I'll go over in a minute, and also the reminders that we spoke about, and our contact information. So the bottom line is we want you to have the most up-to-date information, but we also want you to stay in touch with us and ask lots of questions. And we know that sometimes you'll be working on these applications late at night, can't get in touch with us. This website is a great replacement until you can have that phone call. So when you're all going to be applying to college, it's all going to be at different times when you're ready and when your college's deadline dates are. you're gonna follow our college's, our high school application processes and procedure. One main piece of advice I'm gonna give you is college applications, the process is deadline driven. Everything is all about that end date, that deadline that you need to hit submit on your application, okay? So, that being said, we need to work backwards from that deadline date, all right? So some of you might be sitting here in this office or in this room tonight thinking, oh, I have a November 1st deadline date, all right, I have a December 1st deadline date. So keep that deadline date in mind, but you need to get this paperwork, the resume, the letters of recommendation done well in advance so that everything can be ready and meet your college at the time. We process thousands of applications, okay? And we need your help in making sure that we can make sure we hit all of those deadlines. And we're asking you to help us by making sure that you notify us in a timely manner. The magic number is 15. You need to notify your counselor no later than 15 school days prior to your deadline date to ensure that your documents, transcripts, and letters of recommendation get sent by your actual deadline date. You as students, you will be responsible for sending in your application, the parts of your Common App, your essay, and your actual application. Your counselor, we are responsible for sending in your transcripts and your letters of recommendation. You can send in your application before me. I can send in my stuff before you. The bottom line is that it all matches up through Naviance at the college's office by that deadline date, okay? Colleges don't take one earlier than another. They wait to that deadline date and then they start reviewing, okay? So 15 school days, that's the magic number, and that's something that I really, really, really want to stress to you tonight. To help you with those 15 school days, we have put them up here and they're all on the main website. So if your college's application, for example, is October 15th, we would need what we call one of our forms by next week, and I'm going to go over those forms in a moment. The forms that I'm going to be speaking about for your counselor does not mean that your application is done. It means that your application is in process, right? So if you fill out a form and you're one of my students and I get that form, it's basically saying, hey, Mrs. Montera, I've got an October 15th deadline, and here you go. And it's up to me to get your stuff in by that deadline and you to fill in your application by that deadline. This also goes for teacher recommendations. You want to give people time so that they can write you a well-rounded letter of recommendation. If you go to a teacher the day before your application is due, they don't have enough time to write your application. You need to give people at least 2 to 3 weeks to write those letters of recommendation. So if you haven't started talking to those teachers, again, we encourage you to start doing that now, okay? So just keep in mind the 15 school days, and I'm going to go over this in a second. So the way anything gets done for your applications, your paperwork, your transcripts, your letters of recommendation, our office is form-driven, okay? We love a form. Who doesn't love a form? The forms are the best. And we're color-coded in our office. We have a blue form, we've got a purple form, and we've got a pink form, okay? I'm going to start with the pink form here since we mentioned scholarships, okay? So if you ever want to be applying to a scholarship, and scholarships are all throughout the year, typically they pick up a little bit more in the spring, but you might be applying to some scholarships even as early as right now. Anytime you need something sent for a scholarship, you need to fill out a pink form, okay? This is a processing form. The results go directly to our clerical staff and your counselor, and basically this form, submitted at least 15 school days prior to your scholarship's deadline, will include your information, who your counselor is, the name of the scholarship, the deadline, and any information that you need to tell us, okay? I always tell all of my students, you're in the driver's seat. This is your application, this is your process. I don't know anything. It's your job to let us know. And these forms are your way of letting us know, hey, this is what I have, this is what I need, let's do it. Okay? So make sure, I assume that, I don't. I assume that we know nothing, because we don't know what your plan is, what your timeline is. We need you to communicate that clearly to us, and we do that through these forms. So the pink form is for a scholarship. You need a transcript, letters of recommendation, specific information for a scholarship. You need to go right to our school's website and fill out the pink Google form. Okay? Something else that you'll need to fill out to us is when Ed talked about teacher recommendations, your counselor also writes you a recommendation, okay? So we have on our website our counselor recommendation form. And this form, we require you to fill out prior to us sending out any of your transcripts or letter of recommendation. And here's why. We know a lot about you as students. We have grown with you through the last 4 years here at the high school. We know a lot about you, but we don't know everything about you, and we certainly don't pretend to know everything about you. So the counselor recommendation form is to help your counselor write a more well-rounded letter for you, to really incorporate information that maybe just never came up about something that you're interested in that just never came up in one of our conversations, okay? A counsel letter of recommendation is very different than a teacher letter of recommendation. Our job as counselors, when we write our letter for you, is to really talk about you and your entire experience throughout high school. How you've grown, how you've changed, different interests, things like that, who you are as a person, okay? We're not talking about grades, we're not talking about, how you write, how you can solve a math problem. We're talking about who you are and what you can contribute to that college. So again, there might be some information that is really unique to you that your counselor just never knew about you because it just never came up. And this form really gives us a chance to personalize and really make sure that your letter stands out from the crowd. So we encourage you, actually we require you to fill out this counselor letter of recommendation form. And this is something that you can do, again, at least 15 school days prior to your deadline date. But the earlier you fill it out, the earlier your counselor can begin working on your letter. And we write a letter for everybody, so we appreciate it if you can get it in as soon as possible. And the more information you provide on this form, the more specific that we can be. Okay. And lastly, how this whole process gets done, how anything gets sent, is through our application processing form, our very famous blue form. Back in the day, it used to actually be a piece of blue paper that we filled out all the information, but now we've transferred it to a beautiful Google Doc for you to use. This blue form is required. One of these forms for every single school that you apply to. 15 schools that you're applying to, you need to submit this form to us 15 times, one for each specific school that you apply to, okay? Again, 15 school days prior to your application deadline, this form must be filled out. And we've also included the deadline dates on here just to keep you on target. Do we understand that things happen, surprises happen, things happen where you might be on October 15th or October 12th instead of October 11th or November 1st? We get it. We just really ask that you don't submit it to us the day before because it's not going to be able to, it will not be as polished as it could be if you give us a little bit more leeway. Okay? Always communicate with your counselor if you're having trouble. We don't want you to feel overly stressed about it, but we do want you to just be very mindful of those dates so that we can reduce more of the stress that comes along with this process. We're also reminding you of the things we talked about tonight. You need to make sure that you've completed your resume, submitted your teacher requests, done the teacher recommendation form, matched your accounts, made sure your college's applying to list and ambiance is up to date and accurate with the information that you're putting on this form. Whatever you put on this blue form should match the information that's in your ambiance account. And we also remind you that you have to send your SATs separately. So this blue form, again, compiles your name and information. It goes to your counselor, gives your colleges the deadline date, and again, how you are applying. You need to be very clear about that, okay? Some people just think, I'm applying earlier, so I'm early action. Not necessarily true. You need to make sure you confirm with your college what your deadline date and what admission type you're applying under, okay? So really make sure that you're clear with that. If you're not sure, you'll ask your counselor. We'll work with you and we will help you. We want to make sure that you indicate the appropriate application type. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be using the Common App, but you may find that a college doesn't use that and they use a different specific type of application or even a very rare paper application, which you'd actually have to bring into us so we can put it in an old school manner. You want to indicate your major. If you're not sure, just put undecided. That's fine. And your teacher letters of recommendation. On the blue form, we give you 3 choices, okay? You only need to ask 2 to 3 teachers max. We don't want you asking 6 teachers, because that's a lot of work for 6 teachers to do, and some colleges only accept 1 or 2 letters, okay? So 2 to 3 teachers max is appropriate for college applications, and we ask that you put them in your first choice, second choice, and third choice, because here's why. Through Allianz, which is where your counselor will be sending your teacher letter of recommendation, some colleges limit the amount that they accept. Some will only take 1, some will take unlimited, some take none. Okay, so in that part where it's they only take one. We want to make sure that we're sending you a first choice of teacher recommendation. A little caveat about teacher recommendation. It's confidential information on your application, okay? So counselors cannot show you a teacher letter of recommendation. When you're signing your purple form on your common application, you're indicating that the information that is on your application is true and honest, and you didn't have any kind of input into any of the information. I've worked here for almost 20 years. I've never read a bad letter of recommendation or a negative letter of recommendation. So trust in your teachers. Pick a teacher who you really trust. They write beautiful, beautiful letters of recommendation. They put a lot of time and energy into that. Okay? And lastly, at the bottom, we have an additional notes section. If there's anything specific about this particular application to this particular school that you need to let the clerical team know or your counselor know, we want you to put that in there. Okay? So we want you to be as accurate as possible before you submit your blue form. If you're not sure, we want you to stop, come down, make an appointment, and ask. Okay? This is a process. It's not an exact science, right? But we want to make sure that we're here to help you. We never want you to feel alone in this process. Okay? But with college applications, before you hit submit, we need to make sure we're right. We can't take things back after we send stuff off to your college. So if you're unsure, there's never a silly question. We'd rather you ask all the questions and make sure we're 100% right than, make an error or we have to backtrack. Okay. So once again, I know it's been a ton of information that we've had here, but we do want to make sure that everything is summarized for you. That's why we've created this website, again, that you can access through the website, that you can access through Google Classroom, and it's here for you as a resource. Okay? In addition to, obviously, your right? We're excited for you. I know it seems daunting, but this is such an exciting process because this time next year, you'll be already in your colleges actually enrolled in students. So I know it's overwhelming, but feel excited about that. Awesome. Give it back to Mr. Company.
So I know a lot of this, before I take questions if anybody has, I know a lot of what just was spoken about, it does directly relate to a lot of the college application process, but please know that a lot of these processes that are in place, they're there for any student, even if you're not looking to apply to college, whether it be a vocational program, the military, if you're going into the workforce, you don't know what your future holds. Those, again, like common application, that's specific to college. But not knowing what your future holds, a lot of these pieces should be in place in the event that you've changed your mind. I've had students that apply to schools and then want to transfer a year after going there. And within a year, they're going to contact the high school and ask for your transcript, for your letters of recommendation, for your counselor letter of recommendation. I've had students that say, I'm not going to school, I'm going to go to work. And then a year later, they decide, work wasn't for me, I really want to go back and get an education. They're going to look for those letters of recommendation as well. They're going to look for that transcript. And the same goes, again, whether it be a vocational program, there's usually still an application process to that, or even the military, if you're going out into one of the branches. There are processes there. So it's important that every student, regardless of where the next step is beyond high school, utilizes and follows these procedures because it's there to benefit you now and potentially years from now. With that being said, at 8:30 tonight is when parents for messages will be coming out individually from each counselor. So you'll be getting a direct parents for a message from your counselor that's going to invite you to be able to sign up for a senior meeting. Again, whether that's college related or vocational, career driven, military driven, it's a meeting that is beneficial to plan for the next step. They are first come, first serve. For the most part, the counselors have a very consistent schedule across all 4 of them. They can be either done in person or virtually. The directions that are in their messages will tell you if you want it virtually, what you need to fill out to make sure that we have everything all set up beforehand. And of course, as time goes on, we're aware some of those meetings are 3-4 weeks from now. If you sign up for one and there's any sort of an issue, please contact the office. They will work with you to reschedule. We're, of course, here to help each and every person. With that being said, do we have any questions for anyone here?
You're planning on early action, and the SATs and the ACTs are in October. Will that be enough time to get those scores, or if not, can those scores be added later on to your application?
What I've always historically found is if you notify the school that you're applying to or the schools you're applying to, 9 times out of 10, they don't have an issue with, hey, I'm aware that they will be coming and getting them later on. With that, there are schools out there, and I will use Ohio State as the example because it's the one that pops into my mind. You will find schools that will specifically say, like Ohio State, if all of your information is not here by our November 1st deadline, you will not be eligible for scholarships, or you will not be eligible in this applicant pool. But the schools that want every single piece there and really don't have any leeway, they're 99% of the time very open and honest about that. But I would just tell the student, send an email, letting them know I applied, everything else is coming. My scores, I took the October exam, and they'll be coming probably early in November.
Even if it's going to be a super score from a previous ACT?
Yeah, so no matter, I mean, you could send the one, but you're gonna end up paying for both of them. It's unfortunately out of our hands. You know, College Board's gonna make a couple extra bucks that way, or ACT would make it. So they used to be. COVID made it not permitted. So what's really nice is this. We had a discussion of going back to paper forms. What's nice with the digital form is there is a date and timestamp there. You know, it takes kind of the human error out of it. There's no papers that get lost. When they say we processed thousands of forms last year, I think the number was close to like 2,300 applications that went through the office. So in that scenario, we have the ability to know that a student has submitted their electronic fluid form in this case, and it tracks everything. We're able to sort it by student if we need, by the date that it came in. What's nice too is, again, if you're working on these on Saturday night, you don't want to hold those forms till Monday. You know, maybe the student leaves them at home, maybe they get them in their backpack and go through the day. In this scenario, you have the ability to submit all of that at a moment's notice, and Monday morning when we come back in, the clerical team will start to process everything. So correct me if I'm wrong, because now it's been a couple of years since I've looked at this topics. We have, as counselors, the ability to see what's been submitted and sent. Students do as well or not.
Yeah, I know your colleagues I'm applying to this, it will say like all this information submitted. But if you're not seeing that or you're unsure, call us, send us an email.
Naviance likes to change things up every year to make it challenging for us. So, you know, what was working last year is no longer the process they use. They changed how it looks. But, you know, no matter what, there is a way, even if it's just through the counseling center, for us to look into it. They can submit them individually. We just need to make sure that every student, if again, if it's 10 schools, there will be 10 different submissions, but they can submit 2 of them tomorrow, 2 of them on October 1st, 5 of them on October 8th, that doesn't matter. So there's not a limit on Naviance, however, on Common App, I believe the limit is still 20 schools. I don't think they changed that. Absolutely, yeah. Any other questions? All right, I mean, we'll hang out for a few more minutes if anyone has anything really specific, but I guess the big piece here is just remember at 8:30, those parent square messages will be coming out. Again, I think this process should feel as calming as possible, and you have great resources in the counseling center as needed. So thank you all very much for coming out. Have a great night.